the ongoing series of team leadership and development, we will be talking more on the empowerment issues of the team members. As I was already mentioned in the first part of my lecture, that leaders become great not because of their power, but because of their ability to empower others. There are so many spillover benefits of the empowerment because it is a process of allowing and permitting someone to think, someone to act, someone to direct their jobs and decision making in their own competent way. And it is a state of being self-assured in one's ability to manage one's own self. It's a social process. It definitely encourages the people to work together for the desired goals of the organization. So definitely, in the process of empowerment, there is definitely a next level increase in their critical thinking, in their overall decision-making power for the shared vision and the objectives of the organization. So when you talk about leadership and team development and team empowerment, it is about investing in the people with authority. That is, you elevate the people with the authority. So the benefit and the power of authority elevation is definitely very, very good and substantial. It not only increases their level, but it is having a win-win situation for the organization also. So there is no as such evidence which talks about a significant effect, but overall there were many surveys and studies which prove that the concept is that it motivates the people when you empower them or when you invest the authority in them. So not only the action improves, it also cut the cost and increased the quality of the product and the customer services. So definitely the organization is responsible for creating a work culture that fosters the individual ability and desire to behave in an empowered manner. Everyone wants to be empowered and every manager wants their staff to be empowered. Keep this in mind that empowering your staff is the most important valuable asset which you can definitely talk about. When you empower your team, you encourage them to row together and boost the mission and the overall success. Empowering others increases the confidence in their ability to carry out their shared mission and goals, establishes a critical trust in an organization. They feel so happy that they have a voice in the organization. And to achieve the success in the organization, you definitely need a collaborative atmosphere, a very compatible atmosphere, wherein the decision making is done at the secondary level also. And of course, the people who have reached the top and the pinnacle, they actually mentor the people at the secondary level. They try and cover the blunders which they continuously do, cover the mistakes which they continuously do, but their constant endeavors show that they are actually trying to elevate their levels. Even if the mistakes happen, no problem, because the top management is giving a constant mentoring to them to increase their critical and the judgment level. As a result, the reasons for empowering our people begin with the recognition of a pool of collective brilliance that exists in every company and over time empowers the mission. And we recall that the trust and the confidence that almost all of us received early in our careers from our leaders who saw our potential and empowered us to deliver on that particular promise. The leaders that do not believe in the concept of empowerment, they risk isolating their teams, which can jeopardize the organization's long-term performance. They can also turn into the micromanagers who believe that only their ideas are valid, scrutinize other work excessively, harshly, and make the choices in a vacuum. They may be resistant to the new ideas and may not see the power of agreement. Let us see now empowerment as a concept, the good impact of innovation and the critical thought, which is generally driven from the bottoms up, might be overlooked. And this is especially true when you advance in your career as a leader as your leadership skills and abilities will be used indirectly rather than directly. As a result, you will have to rely on the empowerment more and more. Empowerment then isn't just nice to have a concept, it is a requirement for high-performing group. And it has been proved that when you talk about the empowerment, it is the indirect effect. That is, more and more empowerment which is done at the top level to the lower level and the secondary level of leadership, the more good it is, because the persons with whom the leadership has been endorsed and they feel that they are competent people, so slowly and steadily their levels will be up, and it's definitely a very nice concept because it's a requirement for a high performing job. Unless and until you invest the authority in them, the power of taking the decision making in them, they will not be, derived as a good leaders. So the leaders that do not believe in the concept of empowerment, they risk isolating their teams, which can actually jeopardize the organization long-term performance. They can also turn into micromanagers who believe that only their ideas are valid. They scrutinize others' work excessively harshly and make a choice in a vacuum. They may be resistant to the new ideas and may not see the power of agreement between them. Empowerment creates a very healthy atmosphere, a very positive atmosphere, and it's the ultimate for the organization's success. One in which there is an ownership of a vision and a trust in the leadership. So if you are listening to your subordinates and then acting with the consideration of their thoughtful inputs, you are empowering them and your organization. And if you delegate to those who work for your authority to act on your behalf in key and well-defined situations, be confident that they know your vision and your intent, then you are going to stay on azimuth. And when you empower your team, you are building the future leaders of your company. So futures are in a building process if you are delegating the authority into your secondary leadership. And it is a kind of a benchmark which is essential for your long-term continuous success. General Colin Powell writes about the idea of empowerment in his latest books. It worked for me, and he gives excellent examples and illustrations of some senior leaders who empowered their junior leaders and accomplished the mission and built far stronger teams. He also makes a point that empowerment creates the trust, which is very essential to any successful organization. Empowering people is not a one-time event for a leader. It must be a comprehensive and an ongoing process with a mechanism for measuring the success. It is not that only one time you give the authority to your lower staff or your secondary leadership or the second level leadership. It has to be a constant endeavor. It has to be on a continuous level. Persistence has to be there if you want a superb leadership to be developed at a lower levels. Otherwise, if it is a one-time activity, it is not going to make any kind of a substantial difference, which is very important for the organizations and a need for today. The leadership building, the leadership in process is the need of today, because one person cannot handle everything. You need to have a collaborative success and the collaborative endeavors of people at various levels. So how can you know if a team is completing the task you require? How can you be sure that they are able to comprehend what you are trying to say? What if they are heading in an opposite direction? So the good leaders and the managers, they empower their employees, but they also monitor their effectiveness. When the President Ronald Reagan remarked, "Trust but verify," So he knew exactly what he was taking about and what he was talking about. Make your intentions very clear and then invite your employees to pitch in with their particular suggestions for how to improve the company. Listen to them, consider their suggestions, not for the heck of it, but also implement them in the actions. And choose a course which is being advised by them. It is definitely going to sprinkle the brightness amongst them. It's a kind of a self-motivation for them that what they have suggested is in action. You do not relinquish your accountability or legal authority. When you empower your subordinates, you retain in both. And let us now talk about the entrusting them, entrusting power to them. So if you entrust one of your team members with the significant responsibilities and they fail miserably, you will still be held liable. And in the US Army, this is one of the core tenets of commanding an organization. Before we are commissioned as the officers, we are taught that we are responsible for everything that occurs or does not occur in our command. In concept, the same is true for the chief executing officers of a small and a large business. You must continually monitor your staff also to ensure that they are following your instructions, they are comprehending the purpose and propelling the organization ahead. Now, when you talk about the people empowerment, empowerment must be gained, exhibited and checked on a regular basis. So these three are the stepping stones towards the success. The first and the foremost thing is that the empowerment is done. That is, investment of the authority into your secondary level or a lower level leadership. So this is a must. Followed by that it must be exhibited, it must be reflected in the core functioning of the organization. So it is not only about the empowerment, it also talks about the exhibition of that empowerment also, which is definitely shown in the basic functioning and the core functioning of the organization. The third important pillar for the power empowerment, people empowerment, is about checking them on a very, very regular basis. So it's about empowerment, it's about the exhibition, and it also talks about the verification or the checking part, which has to be done on a very regular basis to actually check what are they doing. Are they able to comprehend the way you want them to comprehend? Are they able to check? Are they able to do what you want them to do? Is the purpose same? And these particular tactics to which that purpose can include a combination of effectiveness measures, the kind of deadlines, the kind of timetables, and the kind of an attentive listening, never micromanaging. So in a longer run, every leader arsenal should include empowerment. And you must understand this is magical for the organization's success, for the productivity enhancement, for making the future leadership, for inculcating the overall path of success in which the critical leaders are developed, which is good for the organization. It benefits everyone in an organization. Let me tell you, it keeps the organization on a track of success and helps to develop one of the most vital aspects of any team, that is trust. The leaders must have a faith in their followers. If they have any kind of a doubt, if they have any kind of apprehensions about investing power, investing authority to their secondary leadership, everything will be in a wax and wane. Everything will be multiplied by zero. So the leaders must have faith in their followers, and everyone in the team must have a faith in each other. Empowerment is an investment in people, and there is no better return on the investment in any field but investment in people. There are some mechanisms which we talk about relating to employee empowerment. Employee empowerment is not an overtime process, let me tell you. It takes a hell lot of time and a strategic process in action. Employers must analyze the need for employee empowerment at the various levels. The first and the foremost thing which I would like to highlight here is you should value people. Clearly show your regard for the people, your respect for the people, your kindness for the people, your trust and overall value system should be people oriented. Not only this, respect irrespective of the performance levels. Even if you are not able to perform, your employees are not able to perform to a desired level, still respect them. So, the first and the foremost value system is about valuing people. It clearly shows your overall orientation for them, your respect for them, your regard for them. The second strategy is about have a shared vision. Share the vision and the mission of the organization with the employees. This will help the organization as a whole maintain a clear sight when they set the goals at the various levels. Employees will show the surprising commitment and drive, and it is amazing. And there are so many empirical evidences to this effect. And if you see the trajectory of few people who have been empowered in their journey of the organization working, their commitment is commendable. Their drive is surprising. So, have a share the vision and the mission of the organization with your employees. Make them understand that this is what we want our company after 5 years to be on this level. This is the mission for which the company has been set up. There has to be a very clear communication between the leaders and the employees, and this is what you want, that your organization should work, commendable at all levels. So if you want the lower levels and the various levels to function and steer the organization in which the way you want, empower them and show what you want them to achieve as far as the vision and the mission is concerned, and the results are surprising commitment and the drive, what you even cannot comprehend. The employees should be involved in all the vital and the critical choices as far as the decision making is concerned. With the support of the employees, make a progress visible. Show the world that the progress of this organization is because of the employees. Let them feel that they are the proud asset for the organization. But, of course, all these things have to be exhibited. All these things have to be projected, and let the employees know that their contribution is pivotal for the success of the organization, and they have actually shown this to the outside world, that if the support of the employees was not there, the progress was not at all possible. So the employees who are empowered need less supervision, because there is a factor of ownership in them. The third and the foremost strategy for the empowerment is all about trusting the people. Believe in people's good intentions to do the right thing. Set specific goals for your own self. Instead of wondering, fretting, or second guessing, they will concentrate on the actual results. So there has to be a very clear communication between the employers and the employees in terms of what they have to do. So the discourse has to be very clear, the communication has to be very clear and brief. The next strategy is provide the information. Provide your staff with the accurate information so that there is no scope of guesses. There is no scope of any kind of a vague activity. Make it a certain activity And this certainty is possible only if you communicate the accurate information to the staff. Employees at all levels benefit from your clear information. Now, delegate the opportunities and the guide for the managers. Delegate the possibilities rather than the mundane task. Mundane task is a boring task. So delegate all kind of possibilities what you can comprehend rather than just the boring task. This is just the mechanical task. They will not feel good about it. Allow the capable individuals to assume the leadership positions. Allow them to open their mindsets. Allow them to have a discussion, to have a talk with their own self, that this is what I am striving for. I want to be the future managing director of the company. So allow them, allow the capable people to assume such leadership, good top positions. Allow employees to participate in the different levels and learn the new skills. So your work as a top level management should be to upskill your secondary level leadership. So this is not only going to build the levels, but is also going to upskill them. They are going to learn the new skills, which is also a mandatory environment for the growth of the organization. If your employees are not skilled, if your employees, they do not participate at lot levels, there will not be any kind of a learning experience for them. So create an atmosphere wherein the employees can participate at the various levels. Their learning experience should be superb, should be on the top level. Let them learn some new skills, some new problem skills, some judgmental skills, some overall analytical skills, some type of communication skills, some kind of ITC skills. It is going to be wonderful experience for the lower level as far as the building of their top level management is concerned. So it's a way forward. It's a way towards the growth and success of the organization. So these particular points which we are discussing are towards the opportunities for the lower level and the secondary level to build their leadership positions. Employees should be guided, they should be mentored via several procedures, via several communication process. Do not simply issue the orders. It is going to jeopardize your image, and people will consider you that you are on an autocratic mode rather than a participatory mode. So do not simply issue the orders to them. In fact, be a part of it. Encourage them. Work with them. Tell them everything. Tell them what you want. Comprehend the overall communication between the employers and the employees. Employees will be able to learn the new skills in this particular manner. So this opportunities and guide provides a very beautiful platform for them to grow. So delegate the all possibilities rather than the mundane work. Allow the capable individuals to assume the leadership positions. Allow them for their participation at every small, dick and every activity which the organization is organizing, so that even just by participating, they are able to have a good learning experience. Also, there should be some dedicated new skill courses to upskill the entire staff, which is in a way of forming the leadership or leadership development. And of course, there should be some procedures which should be adopted in this regard rather than just issuing the orders. Be a part of it. Talk to them. Be a participator rather than an autocratic leader. So the employers and employees will be able to communicate well, and in this manner, the organization will be reached at the top level. Do not be afraid to give a frequent feedback and do not be too specific about it. If you take the feedback, if you take the communication onto the top, communication solves all problems. And of course, in every kind of a problem, there is a recourse available. So try and talk to your people. Take the regular feedbacks. You should not feel, bad about it that you are on a very regular basis taking the feedbacks. So feedback is very important on both the sides since it aids in the development process of the leadership. Try to imagine a scenario in which an issue could have arisen and mold the system accordingly. Employee punishment should not only be used as a last option, because the punitive actions, the punishment is not regarded as a good one. So let us now discuss certain advantages as well as certain disadvantages of the employee empowerment. When you talk about the positive side and the advantages of this particular aspect of the empowerment, there is a spillover increase in their dedication level. Increased dedication of the employees, if you talk about the flip side or the darker side or the disadvantage, it can lead to a decreased productivity levels. Increased organizational responsiveness. They feel very responsible. They feel that they have been empowered. So it is their sole responsibility to take care of each and every task. So the mistakes are at a very minuscule level. And if you talk about the disadvantage, the lack of centralization of decisions can cause some kind of a confusion, and it can also create a tension between the employees and the managers. So let us see some kind of a positive advantage of the empowerment of the employees. There is a commitment to the organizational goals, and you feel that you are a part of it. You have a say in the organizational work, and it can be counterproductive and increase the pressure on the employees as such. So there are some plus points as well as the empowerment is concerned, as well as the negative points. So both have to be taken in one frame, and then the empowerment strategy has to be in action. But of course, if you see the plus points, they are definitely more compared to the disadvantages if you feel the empowerment has. So definitely the employee empowerment is a strategy which is very good for the organization. It not only boosts the individuals, but there is an increase in the productivity, increase in the secondary leadership, which is very critical to the growth and the success of the organization.